Carlos Correa, Aaron Judge, Trey Turner, just to name a few guys that have signed $300 million contracts this offseason. I didn't even bring up Xander Bogaerts and a couple other guys like Jacob deGrom who signed for an insane amount of money. People are saying that baseball is dying. Owners have almost spent $2 billion this offseason alone. Baseball, it's just getting started. So of course, we're gonna break down Carlos Correa and his 13-year, $350 million deal with the Giants. They also made another sneaky signing. They picked up Stripling. And also, I do want to talk about this trade right here. JP Feyereisen is going to the Dodgers. Now, I do want to mention Feyereisen does have a pretty significant injury. He's going to be missing the majority of 2023, but the Rays, they're so good at developing pitchers, they could probably turn you and me into an all-star relief pitcher. This guy, JP, they traded him. He didn't give up a single earned run in 24 innings. He had 25 strikeouts. They can afford to just be gone, see ya, we'll replace you in 5 seconds. It's crazy. Guys, real quick before we talk about Correa, I just want to say if you are brand new to the channel, hit that subscribe. I rarely say that, but if you guys could hit that subscribe button, I would really appreciate it. Obviously, the biggest fish left in the market, Carlos Correa, he got himself a bag. He bet on himself, and he won $350 million over 13 years. I cannot wait to hear the boos. Carlos Correa, a former 2017 cheating Astro in a Giants uniform. If you're new to baseball, the Giants and the Dodgers, they have the biggest rivalry in baseball right now, at least in my opinion. I know a lot of people say the Yankees and the Red Sox, but that hasn't been all that fun to watch in a few years. Maybe I'm talking out of my you-know-what. Maybe I'm speaking blasphemy, but the Giants and the Dodgers, that's a lot of fun. Over the last 2 seasons, Carlos Correa is batting .285, so for all of the baseball purists that only care about batting average, .285 is really good. He has a .366 on base percentage and a .135 combined OPS plus over the last 2 years. In 2021, he won the Platinum Glove, meaning he was the best defender in the American League a couple seasons ago. In 2022, his defense slipped a little bit, but let me explain. So look at this stat right here. Outs above average, this is a defensive stat. So in 2021, again, he was a Platinum Glover, the best defender in the American League. In 2022, it slipped, and I'm not trying to justify his defense slipping a little bit because he's still Carlos Correa. He was still very productive, but in my opinion, Carlos wasn't making the crazy plays because he wanted to preserve his health, and I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I'm all about getting your bag and getting your money. So if you're in a walk year, Bryce Harper was doing it, Aaron Judge did it a couple times last year, Carlos Correa, they're just not going to make the extra effort because if they get injured, they're going to be missing out on millions. So that's all the justification that you need. Correa is an all-time great defender, so if you're a Giants fan, you're basically getting a younger, better version of Brandon Crawford, who isn't the worst hitter in baseball anymore. Okay, Brandon Crawford wasn't the worst hitter in baseball, but he had an 85 OPS plus. He hit .231. He's going to be 36 years old by the time the season starts, so do we think that he's going to be shifted to third base? Do you think that Correa is going to be manning third base until Crawford gets a proper send-off? What's happening? Giants fans, let me know. But again, one more time, I do want to show you guys the Baseball Savant page. Carlos Correa, he's an on-base god. He hits the ball harder than any shortstop in baseball. You guys got yourself a new face of the franchise, and he is going to be a perfect fit in that Giants uniform, facing the Dodgers 20 times a year. I can't wait. Again, people who say baseball's dying, you're stupid. So if we're not talking about extensions, aka Francisco Lindor and Mike Trout, I forgot he got 12 years, $426 million. My God. If we're talking about free agents, this is the second biggest deal ever. Judge, obviously, $360 for 9 years. Correa got $350 for 13 years. There's Bryce Harper. We can see that Cordy Seager, I forgot that he got $325 million. Garrett Cole, Manny Machado, Trey Turner's on this list, Xander Bogaerts, A-Rod. So 4 of the top 10 contracts ever given out to a free agent happened in 2022. Now, again, guys, don't go anywhere. We are going to talk about the sneaky signing of Stripling and also the fact that we have to break down the Giants lineup. But I do want to mention one thing. We can see that Fernando Tatis Jr., his extension was 14 years, $340 million, right? So the AAV is going to be a lot lower. AAV, all that stands for is average annual value, something like that. It's how much a baseball player is making per year. AAV is the most important part of any deal, in my opinion, because if you have a low AAV player, a superstar player, you now have extra money to go out and build a supporting cast around that superstar because you're not giving him $50 million a year. So Fernando Tatis has a low AAV because he got 14 years. Wander Franco got 11 years for $100 $182 million. And then we can see that J-Rod, I know that his contract is laced with incentives, so it can go up to $470 million, but his main contract, 12 years, $210 million. The reason why I bring this up, it's pretty simple. I'm not saying that Wander Franco is better than Carlos Correa, but in his rookie season, I saw some special things from Wander, so I'm curious if other teams across baseball are going to follow the Wander Franco, Tatis, and J-Rod method of signing guys early so they can avoid the largest contracts in baseball history. Like, I am shocked that the Red Sox did not lock up Xander earlier. Same with Judge, same with Carlos Correa. I guess that these players just understand that their worth is more than the penny-pinching baseball owners are willing to give out and dish. So let me just go ahead and put you in the shoes of Bobby Witt Jr. If you're a young superstar in the making, would you take a discount? Right now, a discount, you're still going to be a very rich human being, but would you sacrifice a bigger contract later on to make a little less money, but you're secured, you have guaranteed money? Or would you say, I'm going to wait out my first contract and then I'm going to be a big-time free agent? Because that's essentially what is happening with all of these Judge and Trouts and Harpers. They had a good start to their career, they made a bunch of money, but then they waited until they were a free agent. They did not buy out arbitration or anything like that. What would you do? In my head, I just made sense, but if I made no sense just now, all I'm trying to ask, if you were a baseball owner and maybe you own the Royals or maybe you own the Guardians, would you dish out a lot of money to secure the future of Andres Gimenez and Bobby Witt Jr. so that way you don't have to pay them $350 million when they become a big-time free agent superstar? Now, before we talk about the Giants lineup and the possibility of the Giants being a playoff team again in 2023, the Giants did make one more signing, Ross Stripling. He was picked up for $25 million over the course of the next 2 years. He's 33 years old, and if we break down the stats, a season ago, he had a 3.01 ERA and a 3.11 FIP. Those are both elite numbers. There is no way to get around that. He was very good last year. One of the reasons why I like this signing so much is because if we take a look at his first, 400 innings, let's just call it 400 innings, 136 games in the big leagues, he had a 3.5 ERA, he had a 3.6 FIP. Ross Stripling is a very, very good major league pitcher. So if we're talking about rotations, my guy Cardinals Reek, he said it best. They have a great budget rotation going on right now. Logan Webb, Alex Cobb, Ross Stripling, Alex Wood, and Sean Manaea. I'm not saying that this is the best five-man rotation in baseball, but for a playoff series, I like Logan Webb. He's been there, done that. Alex Cobb, I'm not saying he's the most underrated pitcher in baseball, but he's very good. I was so wrong about him. I thought that trade between him, I can't remember, I think it was the Angels back in the day, Jahmai Jones or whatever, I lost that trade 100%. I thought the Alex Cobb was going to suck. But when you factor in this little budget rotation and then this lineup right here with Carlos Correa and Mitch Haniger in that lineup, you have Jock Peterson sandwiched in between those two new guys. You have JD Davis as your number 7 hitter. JD Davis was smashing baseballs all year for the Giants last year, at least when he was making contact, because he strikes out a lot. He misses the baseball, but when he does make contact, that ball gets deleted. So Tyro, very underrated. Mike, hopefully he has a bounce back season. Correa, Peterson, we have Mitch Haniger, Brandon Crawford, JD Davis, Lamont Wade Jr. Hopefully he bounces back as well when he's healthy. Joey Bart has a very high ceiling. I mean, the only thing I really have to add to this conversation is now that Correa is on the squad and the Giants have a better chance of making the playoffs, Buster Posey, can you come back for one more year? And last but not least, let's talk about this surprising trade. Now, the one thing to keep in mind, JP Feyereisen, he is going to the Dodgers, and even though he had a 0 ERA in 24 innings, I mean, he was absolutely lights out. A .49 whip is just insane to me. He will be missing the majority of 2023 because of injury, but I will say, if he comes back healthy at the end of 2023 and he becomes a integral part of that Dodgers bullpen that already has the likes of, let me look them up real quick. I want to give you guys some visuals. So Alex Vesia, the lefty, had a 2.15 ERA and a 13.1 strikeouts per 9. Evan Phillips might be the most underrated human in baseball right now. A 1.14 ERA, 11 strikeouts per 9. Brusdar Graterol is going to be healthier. They had a guy, I think his name was Yency Almonte. Let me look at Yency Almonte. A 1.02 ERA in 33 games. I'm telling you, the Dodgers right now, if JP Feyereisen, if he's healthy, dude, they're going to be stupid good. I mean, the Dodgers, even though they've lost Seager, Turner, Scherzer, a bunch of other free agents, and they've non-tendered a couple other guys, they're probably still going to win 100 games. Book it.